Hello friends, hello subscribers. Back to you again after a long absence. I'm coming to you today with a CZ Model 550. I know you saw one in the recent past in a CZ 550 chambered in 416 Rigby. These Safari Magnum rifles are really quite beautiful. They're quite affordable, relatively speaking, and they're well made. I've heard it said that the CZ 550 is the crowbar of Africa, which I guess in many senses would be correct. Much more affordable than a British-made double rifle or a Rigby magazine rifle, and yet capable of handling large, dangerous game cartridges. This rifle has a set trigger. Push it forward to set the trigger, and it sets it down approximately 8 ounces, approximately. In 1907, the British, they banned the importation and use of .45 caliber rifles in their colonial holdings within Africa, specifically the Sudan and Kenya, because of local uprisings. Specifically the 577 450, although the ban extended to all 45 caliber rifles. And at the time, the vast majority of rifles being used were double rifles. And although in 1907 magazine rifles did exist, double rifles were favored. But magazine rifles like this one, although this was not made in 1907, magazine rifles were on the rise, specifically Rigby's. They held the capacity of having, in this particular gun, would hold 3 cartridges, and in the 416 Rigby would hold 4 cartridges. And bolt actions are quite fast follow-up shots. This is referred to as a square bridge Mauser. It is a Mauser action. It's dovetailed. It'll take most dovetail style scope rings, although this particular rifle is best used without scope. Most of these rifles, dangerous game rifles, are made for fairly close-up and nasty work. On the rear of the rifle, I'll try to make it visible here. It's not going to lighting, there it is right there. Right there, you see that detente. Scope rings specifically made for the CZ 550 on the rear ring have a corresponding lug that sets in that recess and provides extra protection for the rings in hard recoiling rifles. This particular rifle is chambered in a largely obsolete cartridge. Certainly in North America it's obsolete, although it's still a favorite in Africa for dangerous game. It's referred to as a stopping caliber. So we have here a selection of cartridges. This rifle is chambered in this caliber right here, 505 Gibbs. It's a massive cartridge. Here on the left is 4570, 460 Weatherby Magnum, 416 Rigby, 375 Holland & Holland, 308 Winchester for comparison, and 223 Remington. As you can see, it's a massive cartridge. Now this cartridge was originally loaded in, by the Gibbs company in 1910 with cordite, and it was loaded to low pressures, about 10% higher than would be with black powder. So in anywhere from around 28 to 32,000 psi. So in Canada, this caliber is not a prohibited caliber. For American viewers and viewers outside of Canada, any firearm producing more than 10,000 joules, or approximately 7,500 foot-pounds of energy, is a prohibited firearm. You can't use it in Canada. I won't go into the political ramifications of that. So, because of the CIP standardization for this caliber, it's below the 7,500 pound threshold, foot-pound threshold rather. However, with modern powders and modern loading, it can well exceed the 7,500 foot-pounds. As you can see, it's much bigger than the 460 Weatherby Magnum, and it even dwarfs the huge 416 Rigby. There's a limited number of bullets for choice. There are some 600 grain offerings available from A Square and from Woodley. Woodley makes a hydroshock bullet for it, I believe, in the 600 grain. But the standard loading is a 525 grain bullet. In the center here, we have a 308 diameter 165 grain spear hunting bullet. On the left, we have a Barnes TSX flat base bullet, 525 grains. And on the right, we have a 525 grain solid round nose. And this is a bronze bullet turned out of solid bronze. These bullets are prohibitively expensive. I guess if you're shooting something like this, money generally isn't a huge option, or a huge hurdle, shall we say. In Canada, when these bullets are available, they run about over $5 each. So it's considerable. It's considerable expense for shooting this, but it's not really a huge consideration if you're an African-bound big game hunter. Recoil is manageable. It's can be breathtaking. It's if you're at any way, shape, or form recoil adverse, I wouldn't recommend even trying this. I know that the 416 Rigby here is a fearsome recoil cartridge, and the 505 Gibbs is significantly more. 505 Gibbs generates about 115 to 118 foot-pounds of recoil, where the 416 Rigby generates, depending on bullet weight, anywhere from 60 to 80 foot-pounds of recoil. Bearing in mind that a 308 Winchester generates about 14 to 16 foot-pounds of recoil. So it definitely takes an experienced shooter to handle it. The rifle is reasonably accurate. Again, it's not intended for busting steel at 600 yards. It's more of a shit hit the fan rifle at 20 yards. as a stopper for large dangerous animals like hippopotami, Cape buffalo, and other members of the Big Five. So a brief introduction to the CZ 550 and 505 Gibbs. It's an obscure cartridge. You may have never heard of it, but you may want to do some reading on it. And if you're looking for a rifle that's a stopper, if you get the opportunity to go to Africa on a hunt for a big game animal such as a Cape buffalo, 505 Gibbs might be something you want to consider. And to keep any sight of a budget in mind, you might be able to find one of these CZ 550s, a Safari Magnum, and one of these calibers. I believe they made them in, well, obviously I know they made them in 416 Rigby, 505 Gibbs, 458 Lot, and I believe a few others. 450 Rigby as well. So keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.